I feel kind of crazy. Because no, it's... I had banana pudding as part of my lunch, and why did I do that? I feel so insane right now.
What does that mean, you feel insane?
I feel unable. I don't know how I'm going to do this. I think that's why I was like, we only can do this for a half hour, because
we're going to take 15 minutes for this one. 15 minutes for this podcast, not a second more.
Okay.
I think that we're going to be okay.
And now I feel...
Sometimes that's what happens. Myself. You want to punch yourself?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Could that have anything to do with your writing session before we started this podcast?
Shut up. Yeah.
She's punching herself.
Yeah, it was okay. And you feel triple bad nowadays if it doesn't go well, because if you have a small baby and you have to write... and you can be away from the small baby, you want to be so productive. You want to get so much done, and then you get a paragraph done. You put in a sentence about how you had forgotten about a color, but you were always thinking about it from childhood. And then one day you got to go to the place where that color was present, and there was this extremely satisfying moment when your association matched your memory and you understood the root of something.
When you talk about color in the abstract like this, stripped from its experience, I think that I might say it's impossible to understand what you're talking about.
I was talking about how there is a particular shade of blue that I've been thinking about for a very long time, and I think about it all the time.
You're thinking about it right now.
Yes, I can imagine it. And now that I'm older, I know where that shade of blue comes from. But there was a period of time in my life, in my teens to my 20s, where I didn't know where I had seen that shade of blue, but I thought about it all the time. So I had this memory. I had the memory of the color, but I didn't have the memory associated with it.
Wow.
So I didn't have the root of that memory. And then we went to visit Ukraine when I was much older, early 20s. And we visited the cemetery where my uncle's buried with my grandmother, who's now also dead. And I saw all of these crosses, and they're painted that shade of blue.
The Orthodox cross.
And all over the gravestones and stuff. They put this iron cross in before they put the gravestone in, because you have to wait for the grave to settle, for the soil to settle. Anyway.
And we're talking about iron is the material of the cross.
Iron is the material of the cross. And then
it's not
what people will do
cross.
Is they'll paint it this particular shade of blue. And it's this sky blue, it's almost like the color of the Ukrainian flag, which is supposed to be for the blue sky, and then the yellow is for the fields, the wheat fields. But anyway, so this has gone on for a very long time. But this is in my novel. So I had this moment when we visited where I was like, oh, that is the root of this memory. That's why I think about this color all the time, is because the first time I saw it was when I was a child, and we had to go to the cemetery to go to some funeral, presumably, or something. But so that is what I spent my morning writing about. I was trying to input or toy with two sentences that conveyed this experience.
So you would say that you had to live that experience before you could write that sentence?
Well, I have that experience and I wanted to write about it.
Yeah. I just came across that line. I'm on a Rilke kick right now. And I came across a line in the notebooks of Malte Laurids Brigge where he's talking about how every verse needs to be an experience. And you underlined this. I'm reading Dasha's old college copy of this novel, ? And he's talking about how nobody's ever written anything actually. in the history of humankind. Is it possible that no one's written anything in the entire course of human existence yet? Yes, it is possible. And he's talking about how verses need to be human experiences, and until you have accrued that experience, you can't write the verse. So if you haven't yet accrued that experience and you write the verse, then all you're writing is just empty lines, and it doesn't mean anything.
Many people will disagree with you.
Almost all people will.
Neil Gaiman will disagree.
Oh no,
with
Neil Gaiman's going to disagree with Rainer Maria Rilke? Oh no.
And you and me.
You know what? That dude got canceled for a reason. It's because of Rilke.
Disagreeable Neil.
Disagreeable Neil. That's right. Disagreeing with Mr. Rilke. Or Miss Rilke. I heard some cool trans theory about him recently.
Okay.
I don't have any more information about it. I just read it on my new scroll, which is the Substack feed.
My new scroll.
Yeah. When I need a little bit of time to just stare at my light box, I will stare at the light box, which is my Substack notes feed, and just scroll. Just scroll for a while. It's like surfing.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it's a much darker, more soulless version of surfing.
Yeah, that doesn't require any of the traits of surfing. But speaking of surfing, which requires water,
we have glasses of water.
A certain body. You have visited a certain body of water recently. Tell me about your trip to Michigan.
Oh, yeah. So it was a hectic March because we had AWP at the beginning of the month. Then we were back for about half a week. And then I, in all of my infinite wisdom, decided that I should go on a writing research trip for my first week away from the family. So we have our dog. We have our cat who needs medicine that Dasha can't apply.
No.
We have our new baby.
Who doesn't need medicine.
Who doesn't need medicine but needs a lot of input.
Much like a computer, the baby requires input.
He requires us to input our data, and then he outputs his poop for us.
Okay. Well.
And I had decided, I think because I had a flight credit that was expiring, that I needed to do this at this time. So I went to Michigan for 5 days. 6 days even, which amounted to 2 full days because of like how red-eye flights turned out and things like that. It was quite poorly planned on my part. But I had 2 solid days in Michigan, in my hometown, where my family no longer lives, except for my cousin, who I got to see, and that was great. But I was staying in a hotel off the interstate. I think that I was the only guest in the hotel because it's a tourist town where I'm from, and we were not in the season yet.
It's a lakeshore town.
Yeah.
So
I'm from Michigan. I'm from a little beach town on the coast of Lake Michigan called Stevensville, which is a suburb of St. Joe, which is perhaps a suburb of Benton Harbor. At least maybe that's how the history would instruct us. Oh. But I was there for those 2 days, and I was, knocking on doors, asking them what they remember from this period of time that I'm writing about. I was at City Hall, literally yelling at a clerk, not at her, because she wouldn't come out from her office. She required the conversation to occur at the shouting level over the heads of everyone else in the office, because I guess she just didn't want to show her face.
She found you threatening.
I don't think she found me threatening. I was so kind. And then, you
shouted kindly.
I shouted as kindly as I could, given the circumstances, I would say, yes.
What is her name?
I'm not going to say her name right now.
Well, her first name?
Kim.
Kim, if you're hearing this, he intended to shout kindly.
I intended to speak calmly. However, I was deprived of that possibility. Mm-hmm. So I shouted kindly. And she shouted back. And I'm not going to say that that was kindly. That didn't feel as kind. But so I went on this trip, and I was really looking forward to it because, with all the business that had led up to this time and all of the baby rearing that had led up to this time, I was really excited for what in my mind in advance felt like an entire week for me to be at home, home where I'm from, working on my novel, getting words on the page and really making progress. And I found that given I had really about 2 days of daylight when I was there to conduct all the interviews and do all the local research that I had to do, I was completely and totally unable to sit down and do real writing on my novel while I was there. Mm-hmm. So that felt really frustrating to me in the moment while I was doing it. So the only way that I could really console myself is that when I would be drinking coffee in the morning at the cafe, because there's no way in hell am I drinking that ass filter coffee in the Holiday Inn. Oh, God.
Okay.
When I was having lunch in the middle of the day, when I was having a beer at the brewery at the end of the day, I would have my notebook with me and I would force myself through all of my haze of fatigue to just write down something. Not just notes, but toward the novel, writing about the novel, writing into the novel, fragmented little sentences that were complete and total garbage, so that when I got back here, I would be able to, and have subsequently done, revise them into some meaningful shape. Mm-hmm. Fueled strictly by the belief that this is the reason that I was there. I have to be doing this while I'm here, even if the things that I were writing on the page frankly had very little to do with the information I was turning over when I got there.
We've talked a little bit about this, but my recommendation was to kind of console yourself by reminding yourself that this was actually all along a research trip, not a writing residency. And if you can sort of reconfigure the purpose of the trip, then it's not a loss to have gone there and done all this researching. You also omitted, perhaps intentionally and strategically, the part where you may have been and still may be stalked.
No, this was great. Can I say something? Some people, they get a stalker and they feel torn up about it.
Yeah, some people.
I got a stalker and I feel great.
Okay.
In fact, I think that this stalker
what you are is not a woman.
What I am is a man.
What you are is a man. Apparently when men get stalked, it's a sort of fresh, exciting, yes, it's an opportunity.
I feel special.
Wow.
Yeah.
All this
Look
for
at that
me?
Guy. Yeah, so the church that I went to when I was in middle school and before, where I grew up, was sold, I'm trying to think of when, maybe in like 2011 or something like that, to the Chicago church where Barack Obama went to, that has the preacher that made the, like, I don't remember what the comments were, something like America is the Taliban or something like this, that almost got Barack Obama not elected. It was like a big news story at the time. Anyway, they bought our church. They drained it of its $1 million or maybe $500,000 endowment. That was just, I don't know really how endowments work. I don't know what that means. I know that institutions have them and they are money. Mm-hmm. And once the money in this historic, like 1800s building, beautiful, enormous clock tower, it has, I think, the only true pipe organ in the state. I don't know what true means. I don't know the details of all of these things, but it's truly like a beautiful building, enormous, great, elaborate organ. Once all of that had been stripped and all the cash, they sold it to a single man for $1, who now apparently lives inside this church with all the lights off all the time, except for a purple light on in the office that you can see from the street. And it is said that boys get seduced into coming inside there and they never go away.
Via the purple light, like flies.
Like moths, like purple moths
like
to the purple light.
Yes, right, like moths, the more, a much better
Flies
insect.
do that too, though, I noticed the other night. Well, I certainly couldn't leave the church alone. I had to go and see what was going on.
You did.
And I had to bang on the doors a little bit.
You did.
There may have been a man following me after that who only stopped following me when I pulled over at the Catholic church and looked out the window at him as he passed me by. So I think that he's a vampire.
Right. Oh, yes. That's the takeaway here is that he's a vampire who lives in a church.
So we have a vampire in the family now, or at least a vampire after
in the
family.
And in the family.
After the family.
After the family. So it sounds like it was a very helpful research trip. It just wasn't a writing residency.
And I never really knew the difference between a research trip. I guess I didn't know that a research trip really existed before I planned a research trip. I'm not a journalist.
You are now.
I FOIA'd some documents.
You did. That was part of the kind yelling at Kim.
That's part of why we were yelling at each other.
Yeah.
Because she was not compliant. She was not compliant with the FOIA.
Traffic swarms like bees against the banks. Glass half nervous. Glass half nervous.
I got the juiciest couture questions from reddit.kiz.
All right.
I've been back on my Izzle shit recently.
Yeah. No, but no one's you've sent out the call and no one's come back.
No one's responded
No
to me
one's
yet.
responded to the call.
However, I think that I do have company. I just haven't met them yet. So the question this time around, this was one of the hottest posts of the last 7 days. And the question was, why you stopped writing? Only the truth.
Oh, okay. So everybody then posts their responses.
Yes, all
to
of
why...
the denizens of r/writing that do not write. Tell us why they don't write, for one, and leave us to wonder why they're still giving us advice on how to write, for two.
Well, they're not doing anything. All right.
They're not doing anything yet, Dash.
No. Let's go. How is this? Okay. So are you imagining that we're going to give them advice to start writing again?
These people have got to start writing again if they want to be members of r/writing, in my opinion.
So we're just trying to give them the badge back. They've fallen off the wagon and we're just trying to punt them back onto the wagon.
I would say the stakes are existential, quite frankly.
Yeah, that's true for some people.
These people cannot exist. According paper. Lost my writing job in 2024. Had to get an in-office job to pay the bills. Am just tired a lot. Shrug.
How is the shrug written? Is it in parentheses or does it have asterisks?
It's actually an emoji.
Oh,
so you know
the
this
shrug
person.
emoji. This
person is writing this comment from their phone at their office.
On the app, probably, because...
Yeah.
Oh, no, you could... Well, I don't know.
This is how busy they are.
Okay.
So, how does one navigate a job that sucks up all of their time?
Recently, and I can't say that I'm doing this every day, but my goal is to go Monday to Friday. So
Monday to Friday.
I'm saying this out loud, and I'm announcing this on this public channel because I really do want to get this to happen. But my goal is to write at 5:15 to about 6:30 in the morning, Monday through Friday. And the reason I've chosen that time is because it happens to be the time that my baby is asleep and my husband is asleep and my dog is asleep. I'm looking at you, Walter. So everyone in the house is actually asleep. Like Walter doesn't even wake up until 6:45.
Whoa, Dash. How are you offering a solution to not being tired right now? This sounds like a way to be more tired.
So here are the problems with this is I tried to write in the evening and I failed. I think that I just don't have the best brain for it. I do the, we have a community membership thing at Hugh's house, and so I write with the community members there from 6:30 to 8 Eastern every Tuesday. But I need that. Like I need to be on a Zoom thing with people sitting around to do that. And I would say that
beautiful plug, by the way.
Thank you.
Hughes House community membership available now. So
I do that, and that's the time that I'm working on our column for the Hughes House Substack, which has been actually really enjoyable. But to work on my novel,
Substack. Available now.
I mean, it has been available this whole time.
Substack Notes app. Available now.
So here's my point is, I had to switch to working very early in the morning because that's when my brain works well. And because I have several jobs in a way, and by the time I'm home and sort of no longer required to do computer things, I'm exhausted. And I think that's how most people that have office jobs feel at, from 6 onward. I think it's very difficult to convince yourself to get on a computer after working on a computer, from 9 to 5 or whatever the new hip hours are. They're like 10 to 4 or something. I don't know. How long do
10 to chill 30.
10 to chill 30. So, I want to do anything other than that. So I have to work really early in the morning, which does change the way that my evenings work, but it has guaranteed me progress in a way that the evenings have not. So that's what I would say to, I don't remember what their names are.
According paper.
If it means anything to you at all, it has to happen before your meaningless day job.
There's 2 different types of people. I guess there's more than 2 different types of people.
There's 3 different types of people.
But there are 2 different types of people that I'm about to talk about.
Okay.
One of those people is the person who has a traditional day job, 9 to 5, 9 to 6, 9 to 7, depending on how their salary works, I guess, or their hourly. And then there's the other group of person, which is like you and I, people who freelance, who cobble together lives, and have to improvise all the time to pay the bills.
People who are in charge of their own schedule, but are actually sort of very responsible for their schedule as a result of that.
I think that both of these kinds of people looks at the other kind of person with a kind of envy about something about that life, whether it be financial security, whether it be the so-called freedom that freelance people have. But I think the thing that they really share is that at least in the United States today, in 2026, both of these people are super tired all the time.
All the time.
It's really hard to make a living in the United States of America in 2026 and feel that you have a lot of energy to spare. I don't even think the people that are the most rich really feel that they have a lot of energy to spare right now. It's just an extremely trying time financially. So I think that is perhaps unique in the last couple of generations, but it's not unique in the history of mankind. And mankind has certainly been making art all of that time. So I think that Tiredness is a great... Oh shit, am I going to say it? Tiredness is a great excuse to not do the things that feel the most important to you, but it's also a thing that is going to sort out whether you really care about something or not. Because when you're really tired, you're still going to take care of the baby, right? That's not changing. You're still going to do the things that you need to do when you're tired. You'll find a time. You'll wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning if you have to.
Yeah, if you really have to.
If you really have to.
And I do really have to, and I am really tired.
You're always going to be tired.
Yeah,
according
it's
paper.
True.
You're always going to be tired, even when you get a new job. Even when you get a less demanding job. There's always going to be next year when you can start writing.
Yeah. Yeah, I do feel the death grip of tiredness recently, and I think it is sort of shocking me into getting up earlier. I have this tiny moment right as the alarm goes off, and sometimes I succumb, obviously, because I have not been able to yet do a consistent week, where I wake up, I open my eyes, and I think, oh, no fucking way. And if I can just get through the no fucking way to like, but okay, actually I can. Once I'm awake, I'm fine. And unsurprisingly, the rest of the day goes so much better. I just feel like everything else can go to hell. And it has on some of those days. And I don't feel nearly as bad. So I do have to kind of remind myself consistently of the fact that if I can just get something that's that important to me done before anything else at those 0 hours, everything else just sort of, I'm fine with everything else not going well.
Acceptable Fox. According paper, acceptable Fox. Okay. I think these are all bots. I think this is the dead internet. All right. Acceptable Fox. I stopped writing for several years. It was because I stopped reading and thus didn't have the words for what I wanted to say. Do you think this is a real person, first of all?
No, I don't think so. I think this is a bot.
This totally sounds like a bot response.
Thus didn't have the words for what I wanted to say.
I mean, it's like you go onto an AI and you say, AI, spit out a writer saying something.
Yeah. Acceptable Fox, I reject you.
Acceptable Fox, I accept you, however. And I have also found that when I stop reading, I cannot write a damn thing.
Oh, this brings me to plug Nick Drake, who has nothing to do with Hugh's House. I can't plug Nick Drake. I can say that I've been listening to Nick Drake lately, which made me this morning want to... I remembered that I had passed a biography of Nick Drake one time in a bookstore, and I thought, surely that wasn't just my imagination. I couldn't have just imagined that there's a biography of Nick Drake, although he's not the most popular folk singer, so it's very possible that, in fact, such a biography doesn't exist, and I'm making this up, and I'm having, like, an AI hallucination in my mind.
What?
But I did look it up, and there is a biography of Nick Drake, and then I immediately...
Nick Drake is wildly popular.
No, he's not.
Everyone knows about Nick Drake.
No, he's not... No, because of that Pink Moon song that was in that car commercial when we were children.
He's on car commercials.
He is, yeah. That was the first time that I saw... That commercial has the dad put the baby in because the baby's crying, and then he drives around the block in their suburban household, and the baby falls asleep and Pink Moon is playing. And now I understand.
Oh.
Now I'm so many years later, I'm like, oh, that would work, you know.
Nick
Anyway,
Drake will come on your podcast. You can come on our podcast.
don't say that, because it's actually very depressing what happened to him. He overdosed on antidepressants in his grandmother's attic in like rural England somewhere.
Sounds great.
I took out that biography from the library because I've had such a difficult time finding anything exciting to read. I am going to get downvoted to death for this.
Here she comes.
But I tried reading The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt.
Picture it behind you right now in the frame.
I'm sending that thing out of my life. It's gone.
Wow.
I tried. I think I read 130 pages.
Thanks, Donna.
And I just have no... Donna doesn't care about me.
Donna cares.
I just
reads
can't
the
get into it
reviews.
for the life of me. And I've done this with several books before The Goldfinch. And The Goldfinch was like my last resort. I thought, surely... This book is so popular. Everyone's so crazy about this book. I know nothing about this book, except for every time I've seen it or I held it in my hand for even a second, someone would say, oh, The Goldfinch, I love that book. Oh, have you read that? Oh, are you about to read it? Oh, I'm so excited for you. I wish I could go back in time to that point in my life before I read The Goldfinch. It was the greatest point in my life.
It's got a wide appeal.
So anyway, so I've put it down. I read 150 pages. I don't want to hear it. If you love The Goldfinch, I'm happy for you. Congratulations. I can't do it.
I'm going to read it.
I'm going to read
it, and I'm going to love it.
This biography, and then I'm going to read this new biography on Alice Coltrane that just came out, which I'm very excited about, called, I think, Cosmic Magic or Cosmic Power. So I think I'm going to do biographies for a bit.
Biographies are a great turn, I think. For a very long time... When I got sick of novels and I got sick of poetry and I got sick of, I don't know what, creative writing, I had my turn. Yeah, right. Ugh. God, creative writing. I would turn to biographies of like massive historical figures. So I read one of Napoleon. I read the Andrew Jackson one. I don't know why I read that one. It's called American Lion.
Oh my God, what a good name.
Great name.
Great name.
Andrew Jackson was a horrible person, and he's having a rough moment in the sun right now with the current administration. But I found that biography to be really rewarding. I was reading the biography of the Pre-Raphaelite when we met. Do you remember that?
I was just thinking about that.
Dante Gabriel Rossetti.
Yes, Rossetti.
And there's a huge feeling of accomplishment when you finish a biography because you're with a person usually from like the generation before they were born with their parents. They'll usually give you a chapter about their parents in the beginning. You'll get their birth. And then you go all the way until their death. Mm-hmm. And I think that kind of comprehensibility is rewarding. And it's the kind of reward that I'm looking for in my reading life when creative work concerned with sentences, work concerned with like the craft of it and things like that. When I'm not getting it from those sources, I definitely get it from nonfiction like biography. And that's not to say that biographers aren't concerned with craft and things like that. They are. It's just not the point.
Right. Right.
Reading is necessary.
Yeah. For some people famously do no reading at all while they're writing and are very susceptible or claim to be susceptible to influence, et cetera, and so actually find it extremely distracting and damaging to their project to do any kind of reading while they write.
The last one we will find is necessary because you have called and Nick has answered.
Okay.
This is from Nick 1706. And I bet when you get that Nick Drake biography going, you'll find that 1706 is a significant number for that man. And that this is perhaps from the other side. Nick says, got an MFA. Haven't wanted to write again since.
All right. Sorry, Nick. I can't have MFA discourse anymore. I'm not doing that on this podcast. No. Get one or don't. I don't care.
Sounds like you've got something to say.
I'm not saying anything. Oh, it's so ridiculous. Oh, well, I don't know. So this person could be, 65 years old, and they could have gotten an MFA at the time when supposedly you came and then they performed some sort of a lobotomy on you, and then they kicked you out, and then you were Raymond Carver.
A literary lobotomy.
I don't know. I'm sorry. That's a shame.
Nick. I think that every person I've ever met who went to the new school has said the exact same thing to me. So I wonder if Nick Drake went to the new school.
Leave Nick Drake alone. He loves his grandma.
Who doesn't? She was great.
Yeah. I'm sorry to hear that. I've heard that before.
Let me ask you a question, Dash.
Sure.
MFA v. NYC.
I don't need to come on this show to be triggered. So just don't trigger me.
We're feeling triggered because Dasha got an MFA and she feels pretty good about it.
Yeah, I feel fantastic about it. I had a great time.
Why don't you tell us about your MFA experience?
No, because I don't think that's the answer to the question. I think that the answer to the question is if you don't enjoy writing, then don't do it. If you don't enjoy writing, but you feel like you still need to write, which is different, which is something I've gone through many times, then you still need to figure out a way to do it. Because then it's like there's a dire, there's a malnutritional thing going on in your life, spiritually, etc. But this is different. If you got an MFA and you came out and you realized, you know what? This whole thing is not for me. I don't want to do this anymore. I think that's great. There's a fantastic story in Lorrie Moore's first short story collection called Self-Help. That's called, I think, How to Be a Writer, How to Become a Writer. And it has such a great beginning. And I'm not going to spoil it for anyone, but I think that it's a very good beginning because it's true. If you don't need to be a writer, just don't be one. That's fine.
That's the beginning of the story?
Basically.
What do you mean? How is that the beginning of any story?
The beginning is, I think the line is, first try to do anything else.
Yeah. Have you tried to do anything else?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah.
Me too.
I've tried to do other things, and I've done the thing where I'm like, well, I don't write anymore. I'm not a writer. I think I'll just sit around and be a regular lady. I've done that a lot.
Be a person, not writing.
And it just doesn't work for me.
What do you say about the person who really enjoys writing and then they go to school and it makes them not like writing anymore?
I don't think that's real. If you have you have to have a heartier disposition in life that someone could just take something like that away from you.
Yeah, how can somebody take away a passion? That's something more likely. I think what happens is that you really like doing something and then you learn more about it. And it's like that curve. What's that curve called where it's like confidence versus knowledge?
Yeah.
And it's like when you don't know anything about a topic, you're extremely confident about it. And
it's like me in acting.
Like you in acting. And then once you hit like 20% knowledge, like your confidence dips and you feel that you know nothing because that's the moment you understand, oh shit, this is what it takes to really master this topic.
Yeah.
And then slowly you build it back, but you never go back to the confidence that you had, in this scenario before the MFA.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that this person loved writing as a hobby, and I think that that's beautiful. And I think that if they can find a way to return to writing as a hobby, not as a vocation, then they should do that.
There's no reason to be stalking the r/writing Reddit if you don't really care about writing. That's crazy. What are you doing just window shopping for all of your life? Just save up the money and buy the damn dress.
So many people window shop their entire life long. Stop window shopping, Nick Drake. Get back to the table.
The amount of mixing that metaphor, we can't.
There's no metaphor.
There's no salvaging that sentence.